Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Now, recently on the channel, I've been looking at unique and special Pokemon that appear in the games and the anime. And today is no different, as we're going to be looking at some very special exclusive Pokemon. Now, when I say exclusive, I don't mean in terms of the games and how different versions have different Pokemon. For a Pokemon to be on this list, it has to appear in only a game, anime episode, or manga chapter. So for example, Noctis Pichu appears exclusively in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver. However, it also appears in the anime and the manga, so it cannot be on this list. It has to be in only one of these categories. So as you can imagine, not many Pokemon fit the criteria. Now, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button down below to show your support for this video, and make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things Pokemon. With that being said, let's start the video. So starting us off is an exclusive Pokemon that only appears in the Pokemon Adventures manga. Well, I'd like to call this thing a Pokemon, but I'm not sure if it falls under that category. Anyway, the Pokemon in question is Fusafrisa, which is a fusion Pokemon made up of the legendary bird trio Articuno, Zapdos and Moltres. This Pokemon, if we can call it that, appears in the 33rd chapter of the Pokemon Adventures manga and was created by a Team Rocket experiment. By combining the strengths of all three legendary birds, Fusafrisa has incredible strength, maybe even on par with Mewtwo, which was considered to be the strongest Pokemon in the world at the time. With its incredible power, it took a lot of effort from Red and the gang to stop it from destroying Saffron City, and with the help of their starter Pokemon, Fusafrisa was defeated. Once defeated, the legendary birds separated from each other and fled from the city. Thankfully, this monstrosity has never been seen again. Even though it is a strange Pokemon, it was the first fusion one, which we wouldn't see a return of till Black and White 2 with Black and White Kyurem. So Fusafrisa is definitely a special Pokemon. Next up is a very unique Pokemon that made an appearance in the 447th episode of the anime, All That Glitters Is Not Golden. The Pokemon in question is a one-of-a-kind golden Sudowoodo. The Sudowoodo is owned by a trainer called Keenan, who it turns out experimented on his poor Pokemon and turned it golden. The reason behind this is because Keenan knew Sudowoodo hated water like any sensible rock type would, and tried to alter Sudowoodo so water had no effect on it. Although the experiment was a successful one of the after effects of Sudowoodo's strength against water meant that it took on a new golden form, which it hated and therefore ran away. This Keenan fella ain't gonna win any Pokemon Trainer of the Year awards, that's for sure. Eventually though, Ash and the gang helped return Sudowoodo to its normal form, and thankfully we saw the last of Golden Sudowoodo. Following on from Golden Sudowoodo is another anime exclusive Pokemon. This is the Zygarde core called Z2. Now, Z2 might look like just a normal Zygarde core, but unlike the normal Zygarde cores, its core is a unique blue colour. Z2 appears multiple times throughout the X and Y series, and unlike Bonnie's Zygarde core Squishy, Z2 has a great distrust towards humans. This is because Z2 believes humans disrupt the order that both Z2 and Squishy maintain, and that they are a danger to the Kalos region. Using Z2's distrust for humans to his benefit, Lysandra gains control over Z2 and begins to attack Lumiose City. After Ash and the others prove to Z2 that humans were protectors of the Order and not disruptors, Z2 finally gains the trust of humans. Although there is only a slight change in Z2's appearance compared to other Zygarde cores, I think I actually prefer its blue core over the original red, and that's why I put it on this list. These next few exclusive Pokemon all come from a very recent mobile Pokemon game, Magikarp Jump. Magikarp Jump, otherwise known as Splash Magikarp, was released around 2 to 3 weeks ago and contains some brand new Magikarp patterns that have never been shown before. There are over 9 types of patterns, each with their own variants, meaning currently there are 25 different species of Magikarp to obtain, with more to come in future updates. Now there are way too many to go over for this kind of video, so I'll just point out my new favourites. So these are the Orange Dapples, Pink Two-Tone, Grey Bubbles, Purple Patches and Apricot Stripes Magikarp. I think all these new Magikarp variants look fantastic, and I'd love it if one day they all make it to a main series Pokemon game. One of the Pokemon franchise's most popular Pokemon is the genetic Pokemon Mewtwo. Mewtwo, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, was created through cloning Mew. However, Mewtwo isn't the only cloned Pokemon in the Pokemon universe, as we saw in the first Pokemon movie, as Mewtwo created an army of cloned Pokemon. These cloned Pokemon include Pikachu 2, Venusaur 2, Charizard 2, Blastoise 2, and Meowth 2. Now Meowth 2's appearance isn't too different to its original counterpart, however the other cloned Pokemon have clear distinctive markings that separate themselves from the original Pokemon, such as Pikachu 2's marked ears and Venusaur 2, Charizard 2 and Blastoise 2's markings on their bodies. Although they're not strikingly different, they are very memorable to me, especially Charizard 2, and on a personal note, I'd love to see what a Mega Charizard 2 would look like. There have been many special Pokemon that have appeared in the Pokemon anime, but none are as unique as this one. This is Puka the Pikachu, which makes its only appearance in episode 67 of the Pokemon anime. Puka is an older Pikachu, estimated to be around 20 years old, pretty much what Ash's Pikachu should be by now if we're being honest. Anyway, back on topic, Puka has a few different features compared to Ash's Pikachu, such as its bigger appearance, lumpier ears, and of course its indistinguishable blue eyes. Although not much is known about Puka, we know it has a unique ability as it can sense big waves headed towards Seafoam Islands, which is where it lives. When these waves are sensed, Puka's eyes glow blue. Since many Pokemon's eyes glow blue when using psychic attacks in the anime, it does make you wonder whether Puka has psychic abilities of its own. Also, did I mention that Puka could surf? This is one badass Pikachu. Also, it wouldn't surprise me if Alolan Raichu, which is a psychic surfing Raichu, was based off Puka. Probably one of my favourite episodes of the Pokemon anime was episode 13, Mystery at the Lighthouse. In this episode we were introduced to our first giant Pokemon in the form of Gary's Krabby. However, there was another giant Pokemon that would emerge later on that would steal the show. This is of course the giant Dragonite, which might be the biggest Pokemon we've seen thus far in the Pokemon anime. Dragonites are usually 7 feet tall, although this one could easily be over 100 feet tall. Unfortunately, as Dragonite comes towards the lighthouse where Ash and the gang are, Team Rocket begin to attack it and scare it away, and sadly we've never seen it since. This is one of my favourite mysteries from the Pokemon anime as to why Dragonite was so big, and one of the reasons why Dragonite is still one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Now of course, Dragonite isn't an exclusive Pokemon, but this giant Dragonite definitely is. Also, the fact that it was so dark and we couldn't see what it actually looked like meant that it could have a different appearance to Dragonite altogether. But sadly, it's been over 20 years since its last appearance and most likely we'll never see it again. Following on from the giant Dragonite is yet another giant Pokemon, although these Pokemon are very unique in their own way. These Pokemon are ancient giant Pokemon, which include Alakazam, Gengar and Jigglypuff, and by the looks of them, especially that Yakuza looking Jigglypuff, you wouldn't want to mess with them. These three ancient Pokemon make their only appearance in the 72nd episode of the Pokemon anime, the Ancient Puzzle of Pokemopolis. These ancient Pokemon emerged from artifacts from a long lost civilization and have these weird tribal tattoos on them. Whilst I think Giant Dragonite is the best giant Pokemon of the lot, these three ancient giant Pokemon are definitely more unique with their different markings and probably more powerful, which is definitely hard to believe as they almost destroy the entire world. Thankfully though, Bigglypuff or Yakuza looking Jigglypuff puts ancient Gengar and Alakazam to sleep, saving the entire world. Even with all those tattoos, maybe giant Jigglypuff isn't as scary as I first thought. Now this next Pokemon is probably an exclusive Pokemon that not many of you guys have heard of. This Pokemon is Black Tyranitar, which makes its only appearance in the 22nd chapter of the Pokemon Gold and Silver The Golden Boys manga. Black Tyranitar is located in Cianwood City and is classed as a legendary Pokemon and the King of Destruction, as it had once caused a major disturbance in the Johto region. Black Tyranitar, which seems to be based off Godzilla, has unprecedented power and took all of the Pokemon in Cianwood City to weaken it before it was sealed away in an ancient Pokeball. In the present day, Black Tyranitar is released and embarks on a destructive path of the Johto region. This Tyranitar is much larger than normal Tyranitars and can even jump into Cianwood City to Olivine City in one leap. I swear this Tyranitar thinks he's Goku or something. Now eventually, Black Tyranitar is knocked back to Cianwood City by the legendary Pokemon Lugia. Now once back in Cianwood City, Black Tyranitar has been defeated, and to capture it, Gold throws a level ball at it, which if you guys don't know, a level ball has a higher chance of catching a Pokemon depending on the surrounding Pokemon's levels. Now this is where we can see the true extent of Black Tyranitar's power, as all the combined Pokemon in Cianwood and Olivine City, which includes the gym leaders Chuck and Jasmine, and even a legendary Pokemon Lugia, don't have a high enough combined level to match Black Tyranitar's. However, with Silver's help, or as he's known in this manga as Black Tyranitar is finally sealed away. Now it's unfortunate that we've never seen Black Tyranitar in any other form, because personally I think it's much better than Tyranitar's shiny. Now something I've wanted in the Pokemon series for a long time is multiple shinies for each Pokemon, and the closest we've actually got to this is through Pokemon's most recent fighting game, Pokken Tournament. In this game there is a colour variation for each fighter, such as a red Lucario, a blue Blaziken, a green Weavile and much more. Even the new fighters which are coming to the Switch version of this game have alternate colour schemes, such as a red Empoleon and even a blue Scizor, and they all look fantastic. Now like I mentioned earlier, I've always wanted new shinies for each Pokemon, as many people have caught a lot of the game's shinies. And that's the reason why I like these recolours so much, as they reminded me of that idea I had years ago. It would be great to have these recolored Pokemon in the main series games, but for now at least, they are exclusively found in Pokken Tournament. So those are my 10 favourite exclusive Pokemon, but what are yours? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below, and if you did enjoy this video, then make sure you hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos like this and want to stay up to date with all things Pokemon, then make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!